So we've got TF-68 AFRICOM against BLEP Rats. So not BLEP, we've actually seen BLEP before, but BLEP Rats is a subgroup that's coming out today. Let's see, over on the TF-68, the AFRICOM division, we've got Das Kommandant in a Kurfürst. We've got Satyr, UAW, and a Kremlin. Willy Wonka in the Georgia, and we have the real Liam Soklovin, I think, in the Mikasa. A time-honored tradition of stealing all of the tier points from one player, sticking them on the other player so that they have fun ships while the Mikasa slowly trolls along. And then over on the other side, we have history buff in the Yamato Weebelon, something like that, in the Suvorov, or the Knyaz. We've got the Massachusetts of Mick 777 and Conqueror of Desolate. So very different choices here. Kremlin has some excellent bow taking potential, absolutely a tough nut to crack, and yet history buff's bringing a Yamato which can crack it. The Yamato has the big guns that can overmatch the front nose of a battleship to be able to shoot right on in there and do some pretty serious damage. That being said, Yamato's going to want to stay at range, because the Yamato is pretty easy to citadel when you start getting into close range and just kind of have your way with it. It's really designed to just... The Kremlin might be that mid-range, that close-range bow-in threat, whereas the Yamato is kind of that mid-ish long-range bow-in threat, because his shells are going to hit in ways that the Kremlin's aren't, but the Kremlin's got the armor that the Yamato doesn't necessarily have, so it's kind of a different vibe. And yet we do see that Yamato moving forward, getting closer to the cap, although still at a further difference from this distance from this Kremlin Kurfürst, Georgia. Got the Mikasa going for the long play, heading over toward Bravo. Same thing with Wibelon. BLEP Rats' Suvorov also heading toward Bravo. Looks like he's got the afterburner engaged compared to the Mikasa, and shots are out. Yamato is spotted. We got shells inbound. Dink, that's going to be about 7k. Not too big of a hit, but it's something. And shells crest the island, but not very well, and it's just a small little hit to the Kurfürst. See that about 5k. All three higher tier ships vying for Charlie. Conqueror still taking a long, lonely trip. That's going to put an early advantage into TF-68 AFRICOM, as they've got more guns on target. Desolate just does not have a shot at the moment. Probably not going to have one for at least maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 more minutes, actually, if he's going to continue committing hard for Charlie. Conqueror could swing into Bravo and start looking for some kind of crossfire potential, but it looks like he wants to stay with his team. Suvorov begins to take Bravo. Mikasa is heading that way. We have seen a Suvorov versus Mikasa. While the Mikasa is able to get the secondaries in line, the Suvorov is a full tier higher, and by the power of technology, wrecked the shit out of the Mikasa in a 1v1. We'll have to see if that happens again. Meanwhile, damage is being chunked into that Yamato, who is reversing. Not necessarily de-aggroing per se, but just kind of pulling some range. Or for the most part, maybe just moving back a little, moving forward a little. I guess he's decided that he wants to stay there now that the Massachusetts has started coming in. Actually, why don't you just shoot me while my dude takes the thing? Bravo cap about to fall to the BLEP Rats. All three of the TF-68 guys bunkered up. Long range shelling that Yamato all the way down to 55,000. Probably 1, maybe even 2 heals into his consumables. Shells coming out at the Kremlin. Finding a little, but not finding a lot. More shells coming out the Yamato, who is already below half. BLEP Rats. Now the Yamato's definitely disengaging as Charlie is almost about to fall into their control. The Massachusetts of Mick finalizing the cap as the Mikasa starts moving forward for the challenge. Don't know if they see the Conqueror just yet. Eventually those shells are going to bark and they're going to know it's a Conqueror. Once that happens and they've identified where those 3 big ships are, this Mikasa might start getting a little more adventurous, but at the moment is at least blocking the cap and stopping the point gain, making this an 18-minute crawl that we're not even going to get to with a 10-minute match. This is just looking to be a bit of attrition as the Yamato is continuing to be focused fire by all 3 of TF-68's ships, as the Massachusetts and Conqueror continue to stay back, looking for the long game. They have points that have accrued in their favor. Yamato is able to return shells, but it's just not really biting, and it's almost like no one else is able to take shots. So Kremlin down to 92, probably into his second heal. Maybe not even that. 87, starting to actually show a little space on the bar, and there's a fire, probably going to let it burn just because why not? Massachusetts pops the fighter, looking to get some spotting, maybe on the Georgia? At this point, the Yamato starting to pull forward. Maybe he's getting antsy. That is not the decision I would have expected, as he's putting himself on the line, and this is a juicy 100-point swing. They've spent a long time gathering up these 63 points they have, and just to throw away 100 points, that's going to be pretty nasty, as the Yamato gets clapped down to 9,300 and burning. Big shells into the Kremlin as the Massachusetts rounds the corner. Georgia looks to match the movement, but the Yamato here just not able to do anything other than die. Melting down to 3K. Still on fire. More shells, that's gonna stick. If Yamato was all the way down on the 10 line, I think he could have been a bit safer, but maybe he just wanted to try to distract from this heavier push. Oh! I see what they're trying to do. The Yamato is going to trade his health for the Mikasa, because the game knows no point difference between a tier 10 and a tier 2. With the death of the Mikasa, the Bravo cap will be unlocked, the points lost will be regained, but that's going to leave a Massachusetts and a Conqueror pinned between a Georgia, a Kurfürst, and quite potentially a flanking Kremlin if they choose to go into a crossfire situation. But with the Conqueror bow in and the Mass bow in, looks like TF-68 is kind of looking held hostage here by this island that they used for cover, now preventing them from feeling like they've got a way in. Alrighty, Mikasa goes down. That's going to be the point trade. Already up over 140 points at this instance. This is definitely a long-term win condition here. The Charlie Bravo strat. It's going to be points, and as this slowly ticks up, each battleship is only worth the 1. If the Suvorov is actually able to run on down to the A cap, he might be able to take this, furthering the point lead, and with only 7 minutes remaining in the game, if these 2 battleships are able to hold out, they might not be able to finish the caps. That being said, now the TF-68 is fully committed. They've come around that island. Kurfürst showing a lot of side to a Massachusetts, but not being punished for it. They're pumping damage into the Massachusetts, and damn, that one connected. Mick down to 26k, definitely going to be a focus target. Still seeing secondaries on the Conqueror, but one has to assume that's going to rip into the Massachusetts pretty soon. That being said, could be stuck on the Conqueror with the 32 mil armor. For good pen damage while they're able to hit that Massachusetts that's really broadside. That's a return fire. Kurfürst down to 45. Shells are out. Massachusetts of Mick down to 5. 4. Burning. 3. That's 2. Soon to be 1. And that's going to be... Oh, he holds on with a damage con, but that's going to be done. And out goes the Massachusetts, still with the point lead, over to BLEP rats. Those caps coming in handy. C cap being contested. If the C cap is taken, these points will simply accrue at the same rate, leaving a difference of 113 points. Death of the Conqueror here result in a swing of 100. That's going to continue to leave the BLEP rats in the lead. The question is, will the Suvorov be able to live for over 5 minutes? Still at the moment, Conqueror holding on. He can print a ship if he's able to take Das Commandant with him. That's going to even one hell of a lot of the point trade, and the Kremlin's going to have to look for Bravo cap and see if they can make up with almost 5 minutes remaining. There's the printer. Amazing how in World War II they had 3D printers already invented and stuck on the Conqueror, so they could simply fabricate parts out of the magic of their Harry Potter wands while on the rolling waves at sea. Kurfürst totally committed. He wants the ram. Big question, is the Conqueror going to be able to stop him? He's got 2 front guns. He might be able to nail. Going for the superstructure. He could go for the bow. Bow probably, yeah, looks unsaturated to me. That'd be a full value hit. Conqueror having like a 106mm pen, probably able to rip through that Kurfürst, but that's going to be a kiss. Spin the bottle ship, made some friends. GK goes down on the Conqueror. No longer out of the closet. Willy Wonka rounding. Satyr is trying to push through Brava. There's still that 130-point lead as the Suvorov runs for his life. Actually running into the open. If he gets spotted by that Kremlin, that's going to hurt. He should be going directly to A, using the island cover to get him there and to potentially get points coming off that cap. 3 points every 5 seconds. That's going to be 36 points per minute. And with 3 minutes remaining in the game, that's going to be about 72 a minute. I think that is going to be enough to swap it over. Suvorov's going to call it. This one's going to fall to TF-68. GG's, fine sirs, on the win. I think we can go ahead and update that one right now, because I don't think there's a way out. That's going to be TF-68 securing it. On we're going to go to the next one, which is going to be on Two Brothers.